I just thought about it in terms of stories. Like if I wrote a story, like I can't. It wasn't Yona of the Dawn, but it was something like it. Like it just thinking of. So there's a princess that's on the run or something, or like the battles for thrones and things like that. Like those are all over the place, like royalty related stuff. And I was thinking of like, why would you want to? Like, if I was the person or a knight or something protecting or helping somebody get to a place or a throne or something, I would be curious and ask them like, so why do you want to be on the throne? Like, what is the point of it? Because no matter who's there, it's are you saying that you can do a better job than them? So you're doing this like purely out of the volition to serve the world, and you think they suck, and you don't think they'll do a good job? Like, could you not be just an assistant or something else? Like, what is the point of this? Uh, uh, like it just if looking at it from the terms of like I want to be a princess and I want to get back on the throne and rule the kingdom or whatever. It's like the question for a person to ask themselves would be, how much is it for the service of others? Because with being in a position where you can make those certain decisions, and as a queen or whatever, you'd be able to make decisions that cover more broad things. You would barely have any idea what's actually going on anywhere, because you like when you get to that point, it's such an overarching broad thing. Like you're no longer even a generalist, even though you would have to be the ultimate generalist because you got to oversee everything. But there are so many different groups that have they're not even specialized groups. Like there's a huge general field over here, general field over there. They're all mixing and matching, and somehow you have to make decisions that vaguely oversee that. Hence, they just become puppet head figureheads that really don't have much say in anything because they don't know what's going on. They can't know what's going on. So it's like by doing so, you get to a point where at most you can maybe inspire people as being a figurehead or something. So it's not even functional for somebody who wants to be able to help. So then the concept of you going there to be a service to the world is so limited. It's will you not be able to serve the world equally in almost any other way? And then you have to balance that question within oneself and the question of how much am I doing it just because I want to for some reason, like I'm attached to it, or the status or dignity or whatever it is that and not even what others think, but I will feel comfortable if I don't have to make decisions or serve the world or whatever else. I'm doing it for me so I can have an easy time, or so I can do what I want, or anything like that. Those would be the two questions to ask. And for every 1 degree that, or every if there's 100 dots, every dot that's on the side of I'm doing this for myself has to be outweighed by at least 2 dots going the other way. If it's just 1 point in one direction, it's a half split with 1 extra dot on that side, on the side of doing the right thing, doing good for others, then obviously you're basically useless to yourself and others. You're not going to get anything done, and you're always going to be miserable. So the 1 dot on that side, it's okay, you're you can go anywhere from here. Make your choice. And you have to compound so many dots on that side to get dots out of the garbage stuff before you can be truly useful to the world. Until then, you make that 1 dot over, you're good. Okay, you've made enough of a choice that you're now leaning in the direction that is actually going to be helpful to you and everybody else around you and the world. So that's a start. And then all of the rest of the growth is just to go more that way. So yeah, that's just what I thought about. If somebody wanted to go on a one of those hero adventures, we gotta save the princess and bring her back to the throne or something. Why? I would not.
You're saying,
just be like, I'm going to make potatoes.
are you saying all of Mario's adventures are pointless?
Well, it depends. Maybe Peach is like a benevolent, awesome person. Like, just, yeah, who knows? If I was Mario and I talked to all the toads and they're like, yeah, Peach is the best. She's the whole reason that this kingdom functions at all. I'd be like, damn, Peach is a beast. Should get Peach back. If he went around, she's like, oh, she, never see her and she doesn't do anything. The toads just live and get attacked by boos and Koopas and whatever else is going on. It was like Bowser attacks. Oh no, it just got a bit worse, but it was kind of bad to begin with. I'd be like, what was Peach doing? Like, every adventure like that. It's what is the almost like the role of a person in the world, and the question for oneself at all times is, what would you do in that role? And is it worth being in that role, or is somebody else in that role, if it exists already? Maybe the role doesn't exist, but if that role exists and somebody is there, being the spokesperson, being the one to plan these things out, figure out whatever, are they doing a decent job that you don't have to step in there? Like, sure, maybe you could be in that position and you would do a better job, but if that's the case, that's likely the case for nearly every single other role that is at all similar to it in every other field in the whole world. So what is the point of you going into, trying to get into any specific role at all, when you can just be good as a person, pleasant to be around, solid, stable, clear and balanced where you are in the role that you have, and naturally, if you do that, then you can exist in a world where everybody's doing that. If you're not doing that, you can't actually exist in a world where everybody's doing that. But in a world where everybody's doing that, then you have that world peace again. You've got that huge swing, all the dots into goodness. That's only possible if oneself is doing that. So that's the only question that it comes back to again. If you're striving to be in any role or have certain decisions over certain things in the world at all, on a worldly level, it eventually just comes back to, am I good where I am? Because if you're not, that's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that will materialize anything into the material world. And then you can go into anywhere else. And if that's not the case yet, your personal development isn't at that level where you can do it from where you are, then it's not actually going to matter where you are. So why are you trying to go anywhere?
I think that can get a little tricky though when you're asking yourself about things you might do, and it's like, well, why does this matter at all? Why is this for service, or is it for me, or is it, sometimes the question, I feel like you don't really know the answer.
Yeah.
And so to say, I just lean more this way over that way, well, maybe it's unclear. I don't know which way I am. And so you're just there doing what you're doing, or you think of doing this thing or this or whatever, but there's no real sense of, okay, well, how much, if I'm doing this, does it mean I'm actually only doing it for me when...
You're kind of answering the question there. And the reason that is a question to ask, specifically for people who are trying to get into a role to do something, is because that is a question they still have to ask. As soon as you no longer are looking at the material world like you have to get places to do certain things for some reason, then you no longer have to ask the question.
Right.
That's why it's a question for specifically those people to ask.